Hello, everybody. Welcome to Profiling Evil by Mike King and Chris McDonough. Chris, how you doing tonight?
Mike, how are you, buddy? We're ready.
You got things under control on the East Coast, I assume? You had a nice day today?
Had a fantastic day. Shout out to all my Sully buddies that I hung out with. And then it was a great Labor Day, stayed out of trouble, and had a good time. How about you?
That's fantastic. Yeah, we did well, too. We got big winds coming tonight, so we're expecting snow and we're expecting winds, and hopefully in a couple of days it'll be back to decent weather again. But tonight we just want to thank everybody who's getting on. I don't know if you noticed, but in the chat box there's folks are starting to say they've been picking up their Profiling Evil merchandise. Yeah, so that is so awesome. Take a picture of yourself with the swag and email us at profilingevil@gmail.com, and we'll try periodically to stick up some pictures and have some fun with it. But thank you so much for supporting us. What you're doing is helping us to continue to try to put out quality content. And, you know, I look around, Chris, and I see the quality stuff that's out there. And I'm just really proud of the fact that we're trying to really keep that level playing field, trying to really look at things from an investigative perspective and weigh the evidence. But it's just really been gratifying. We got a lot of folks. You want to thank anybody or welcome anybody that's showing up on the list here?
Well, you know, we're making a dent because we're grateful for everybody jumping in. I mean, there are going to be people that are going to disagree with us, and you know, being former PD guys, we're okay with that. We're, you know, that way we improve and you get better. You know, we've got Miss Sophie's in the house, ABD, scientific guest, Mystics, Firefly, Lee. It just goes on and on. We're grateful for all you guys, Melanie, and you know, Mike and I can't do this without you. We're grateful that you've trusted us, and so as our producer will tell us, you know, make sure we mention to hit that subscribe button and push that, you know, the bell, I guess, and turn it blue. So that's why we got to lay it out.
invite your friends to join up. We're going to hit 23,000 tonight, Chris, during the show, awesome. I think.
Very cool.
So please help us. Please keep reminding everyone, if they haven't hit the subscribe button, to do so. We are so grateful for the kind of growth that we've experienced, and it's because of you. We also want to thank you in advance for all of the extra that you're doing. Those that have chosen to take part in the membership area, those that do super chats and other things. It's incredibly meaningful. Chris, I wanted to mention one thing, folks. We found a number of books. Now, the publishers have, because of COVID, shut down production, and the books that I've had a chance to write have gone into, well, they're out of print in a few cases, or not out of print, they're out of stock. But we did find 40 copies of Jane. So if you'd like a signed copy of Jane, go to the profilingevil.com store/store. You see it on the screen there. And also the Who Killed King Tut. So in a moment we're going to have DutyRon on, and I just want to pitch this out, Ron. If you're listening and when you come on, I just want to know the coldest case you've solved, and if it beats 3,400 years, then I'm buying you a Coke tonight. So,
yeah,
what
Mike,
else we got going, Chris?
Mike, we've got a lot on the hot sheet tonight. I mean, we like to tell all of our PE family, you know, code 33. We're going to hear from Andy a little bit later on here. He's going to jump in. We've got DutyRon. I mean, a great NYPD guy, as you guys all know. You've supported his channel. If you haven't, get over there, press the subscribe button. The guy is just an amazing human being, but he's a good friend. That's more importantly, and you're going to love some of the stuff he's got going over there. And then we've got some secrets coming here. There's a lot.
We do, brother.
There's a lot going on, and you know, we're getting bashed in different places, but that's okay. You know, you're, as we always used to say, you're in the vein, and when you're in the vein, not everybody's going to like it. So, you know, there you go. So,
well, let's jump right in, shouldn't we? And let's bring in Detective Ron Liccardi from the New York City Police Department, retired. Ron, how you doing, brother?
Drum roll.
How are you, Mike? Chris, thank you so much for having me. I'm thrilled to be here with you guys tonight. I really am. So thank you so much. You got a great group of people in the chat. Everybody's saying hello. Thank you to all of my people who I have put the orders out. The no days off. There was no days off on Labor Day for my people. They were all instructed to come on over to Profiling Evil. So
there we go. And did you ever have one off anyway during the PD days?
Yeah, kind of no. Labor Day, I would have been out there overnight last night and into this morning. There was 5 shootings overnight. It would have been a no excusal no matter what. And I really didn't have days, weekends, steady weekends off until I hit like my 15th year. So
amazing.
I waited 15 years to get a weekend off. So
Hey,
yeah.
so Ron, so tell us at NYPD, tell us about choir practice at the NYPD. And thank you, Stephanie. We're grateful for that.
Yes.
Tell us about, so go into a little bit of your choir practice there. Back
Absolutely.
In the day.
So choir practice, I mean, it was, an absolute right of our 4 to 12 guys, the 4x4s. What they would wind up doing instead of a 4 to 12 was a 4x4. We would go to the local watering hole after doing a long tour on the 4 to 12 shift, and we would talk about our previous tours, our gripes, our problems that we were having with supervisors. All of the cop issues were our choir practice, and it involved alcohol, wings, a lot of cussing, a lot of laughing, a lot of bagpipe playing, a lot of goodness. So our choir practice in the good old city boys, we go to the local watering hole, and then the midnight guys, I work midnights most of my career, we would go over and get a nice meal from them guys and watch them act like a fool and laugh at them and then talk about it with the day tour. So that's the New York City choir practice version 101 a la DutyRon. So
that's fantastic. I have to tell you, Ron. So I sent you a little note earlier because you had Chief Fox on your show today, and Alley Cat. Thank you so much. We agree. DutyRon is the best guest ever.
He's a great man.
We're so appreciative of everyone. Thank you so much for what you're doing. Soul Speaker, Claire S, Nancy L, Eileen. Thank you. Yeah. But I want to just tell you, West 58th and 9th Street in 1987, I was doing a VICAP homicide case in downtown New York. We were, it's kind of what, Upper West Side, is that right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, around Upper West Side.
Yeah, and the guy said, hey, we're going to walk into choir practice, and it was at a bar, and they had this, we went through the back way into the bar, and I'm the guy from Utah, the non-drinker, and so I'm always the designated driver, as Chris was.
We always got to have one of those guys on board.
Yeah. So we're walking in, and I guess they just wanted to, show me a good time. But we go in the back way, and we go upstairs, and the whole wall in the manager's office is a glass one-way mirror. And these folks are just grinding against the glass, and it's getting pretty disgusting. And I said, that really breaks my heart, because there were 2 guys that were up against the glass with another woman, and this happened the other day. One of the guys was talking about it, but they as they were making out and dancing very closely, they revealed that it was an all male club. So everyone there were guys. Oh, yeah. And
gotcha.
So the kid from Utah got a taste of what choir practice for New York.
Welcome to New York City. Welcome. That's your welcome to New York City, right, Mike King? There you go.
Yeah. Thanks, there Ron. You go. Royce, thank you very much. Hey, but there is a pub right next to the, I think it's the Marriott Courtyard there by the Memorial. It's O'Hara's.
Oh, yeah. I've been in there. Yeah. Listen, I got to tell you a story about O'Hara's. Yeah. A little bit after I retired in 2011, 2012, there was a movement called Occupy Wall Street. And the Occupy Wall Street took over right by that pub in Zuccotti Park, which was right opposite the World Trade Center. And they were, sort of like what we have going on in Seattle, but a little bit of a watered down version. But it was the same group of people. You know, they didn't want to have any authority. So we had a detail there, and I was the director of security at that detail as a newly private citizen, right? So I was dealing with all of my chiefs and all my contacts that the NYPD was down there. But our New York Mets. Now, I know Joey Brooklyn is here, one of my good friends. He's my director of security.
I thought you were a Yankees guy, Ron. I thought you were a Yankees guy.
Don't even start, Mike. Don't even start with me. So my New York Mets were playing, and Johan Santana was pitching the only no-hitter that really wasn't a no-hitter, because Carlos Beltran did hit a double and it got ruled a foul ball, but it really was. That night, we had Occupy Wall Street going crazy. I had 2 instances where I had to run away from the detail, which is just a half a block away. I had to see the last pitch, and I had to get an adult beverage just to deal with these guys. So right through the window at O'Hara's, they served me my beer real quick, and I watched the last pitch, and I was making money. So it was a trifecta.
It was a winner.
Win. Yes. So a little bit of a little DutyRon story right there.
So Ron, hey, T. Royce, thank you so much. That is awesome. Kim Brulette, thank you. I know we missed a couple of super chats, Chris. Maybe we'll find those and call them out. But Ron, I wanted to tell you, you said you thought we were both from Utah. Actually,
thank you.
San Diego.
No, I corrected it. I said you were from Utah, and then I realized Mike was from a West Coast guy, San Diego, right, Mike?
Yeah, opposite.
I mean, Chris San Diego,
Chris,
Mike, Utah. Yes.
And the cool thing about Chris that you got to know, the first time I met him, of course, we were in the middle of a serial killer case, and that night he was playing in the way I always describe him is he was the only white guy playing in an all Polynesian band in downtown San Diego. And he's an amazing musician. One day we'll get him to play
Howie Brown's Polynesian Review.
Hey, listen, when we all get a chance and let our hair down, we'll listen to Chris play
Good
a little
golly,
bit.
Miss Molly, thank you.
Chris, you can serenade us.
Oh yeah. Put your seatbelts on that night, buddy.
Hey, thank you to all of my people that are coming in here, becoming members and super chat, and I greatly appreciate that, guys. Thank you so much for the support. These guys are great guys right here. Many years of law enforcement experience. They're professionals, and I appreciate each and every one of my people here. I see the whole chat is being flooded with a lot of my people, so I greatly appreciate you guys. Thank you so much, and thank you for your people who are equally
going over there. Yeah,
they're awesome. Absolutely. They're awesome. It's awesome stuff.
We can't say enough about the fact that you did bring your family with you, Ron, and we hope our family visits you. Good golly, Miss Molly, I think we called you out, but thank you so much. And Left Undone, welcome aboard. I think I mentioned earlier, but Mystic Fireflies in the house, Tiffany Guzman, and folks, thank you. And if you've purchased any merchandise, take a picture of yourself with it. We're going to try to get some pictures up throughout this. If we
I got to interrupt just for a second.
Yeah, go.
I got to interrupt. Latina says, DutyRon.
She's amazing.
Brooklyn or Bronx? I bet Brooklyn. Guess what? She wins. Brooklyn.
Awesome.
So you win. I get to buy you a drink if I ever meet up with you over here. Come on down to Brooklyn.
She's an amazing human being.
And you know what I liked, Ron, is that you called her Draw Latina, because you and I are the only ones authorized to do that.
Yeah. I didn't want to mess it up, and I didn't want to say, hey, Latina, so I hit the draw. I don't know if it's Latina. I don't know. I didn't want to screw it up. So,
hey,
Mike.
Ron, for both of our families. So for both of our families with O'Hara's for a second, this is make sure that everybody understands. If you get a chance and you're in the city, it's right across from the memorial. What's the street there? Church Street.
It's right off of Church. Right? Yeah, Church.
Yeah, Church.
Because you could walk right from there straight into the memorial. So
it's right by the Greek chapel, right? That they're remodeling right there.
And there's a firehouse right at the end of the street. Right at the end of the street, there's a firehouse. As
Ron just talked about, go into that pub and just look at all of the patches on the wall.
It's amazing.
There are tens of thousands of them. Fire, police, just any kind of emergency service you can think of. Thanks, Left Undone. we're so grateful. And also, I learned a little tidbit about this, Ron. I didn't know this, and you probably know that during the collapse of the tower, that was one of the first places they put some of the victims' remains. It was one of the first morgues.
They use it as a temporary morgue. That and
temporary
Burger King. There was a Burger King restaurant we turned into a temporary morgue. It was just for the first day and a half, 2 days.
Right.
But also what they did do, and you might not have known this, but for a period of time, probably about a week to 10 days, they served food to us, to the first responders, inside that establishment. It was desecrated, but they boarded it up, and they had Robert De Niro was in there, and all the actors were coming in and trying to lend a hand because, as you guys know, the United States and all the great people from across the country and across the world, for that matter, came together 19 years ago on Friday coming up, and it was just, I got to tell you, it was like nothing I've ever seen in my life. And the amount of humanity that was happening after September 11th by housewives, by husbands, by lawyers, doctors, every walk of life. It wasn't just about us, the first responders. It was about humanity, and everybody came together, and it was unbelievable. So, not to draw us off of our choir practice here, but I got to tell you what I witnessed, and I was there till April of 2002. I worked at the medical examiner's office. I worked on the pile with the bucket brigade. We were in charge of the largest crime scene that we've ever had in the NYPD history, and it was just unbelievable. It was unbearable at times, and when you, as you guys know, when you can't help anybody, that's what we signed up for. We signed up to help people in times of need, and this World Trade Center, this disaster. We couldn't do anything. We couldn't help anybody. There was nobody to rescue. Yeah. There was nobody to save. So it was really difficult for myself and all of the men and women of law enforcement, the steel workers, everybody that worked at that pile. It was just massive frustration. But at the end of the day, we really all came together. And when I saw women from Westchester and upstate New York coming down on the West Side Highway, and as we were coming off the pile just to get a breath of fresh air, because don't forget we didn't have the masks, they were dousing us with water, bottles of water over our heads, wiping us off with fresh towels. These were women that were risking their safety. They didn't care. They were just showing love to us, and it was just unbelievable.
Hey, Ron, I want to just keep right on this theme, but I want to move a little bit from 9/11. And folks, please, we would remind you, last Thursday we did a program on that. Go and watch that, and we want you to share that with everyone.
Great job.
Until we get to 9/11. But Breezy Treat, thank you so much for that. We really appreciate it. But Ronnie, I found this picture of a boy. I'm assuming he's like one of your children or something that I wanted to put up here.
There he is. The middle.
Catherine Wyatt, thank you.
There he is.
Right. So
look at all the hair
for those super chats. Yes. So I'll for our listening audience, this middle photo with me with the cap device and full uniform was right outside Madison Square Garden at the post office. I took pictures with my family. That was my graduation day. October 30th.
That one's not on the wall in the post office.
Easy, cowboy. Easy. Chris,
okay,
slow it down.
As we say
over here, slow it down. Anyways, the middle photo is me at 26 years old. Okay. Fresh graduation photo. The picture on the left, I'm looking at looking at the computer to the left with the windbreaker jacket is in the outside the 75th precinct, circa 1997. We were doing a warrant hit, a search warrant hit at a house, and all the vehicles, that little mirror that you see there, that was an emergency services truck. And the guy had a Polaroid and snapped a picture. And he said, "Hey, when are you going to realize you got to shave your head? You're going bald." So that was what he said to me, and I turned my head like that, like, and obviously we can't use expletives here, but I said a couple of choice words for my brother in the emergency service truck 5. And the photo on the right is my profile picture. That was going to a funeral, and I was in my dress blues, heading out for a funeral. And that's in my kitchen right here. The very kitchen and wallpaper that you made fun of, Mike. So
No, it was McDonough. It wasn't me.
No, I just asked if you're in the back room at a pizza place. That's all I
McDonough,
asked.
I'll have the last word with you.
So Ron, I want you to tell me something. Somebody ratted you out, and this really touched me. Would you just take a minute? And part of this show is about rehumanizing law enforcement to folks and reminding them that it's just not all about busting down people and throwing them in jail. I'm going to take you back a little bit. Would you talk about a homeless drug addict that you helped out one night?
Yeah, I would be happy to talk about that, because I'm very proud of that moment. And all of my people that are here in the chat have heard me speak about this, probably more than what they want to hear about, because I'm proud of this. It was towards the end of my career, and I was working in the Fugitive Enforcement Division. I worked there for a decade, but it was right at the end of my career, and my partner was also retiring before me. So I was going to get a new partner, and it was just maybe 4 months before I retired. We got a call from the Port Authority police at the Port Authority bus terminal that there was a vagrant homeless drug addict who had a New York City bench warrant. It was a misdemeanor warrant, but it was a quiet evening. Normally we would say, cut him loose, tell him to go on his own to court in the morning, or they would hold him and they would bring him. They didn't have the personnel. We were not busy. I was looking for some overtime. So I went to the Port Authority bus terminal. We picked up this gentleman. He was a homeless guy, crack addict, smelled awful, all of the above. We picked him up. We took him to court. Court was down. It was overnight court, so it was Manhattan court runs 24. So at about 10 o'clock, we took him to get a slice of pizza, which he hadn't had in a long time, and he started telling us his story. And I noticed he had a Southern accent, like he was from down south. And I said, "Where are you from?" And he explained to us that he was from South Carolina, but he's been up here because he had disagreements with his family and his father, and telling him to get a job. He couldn't get a job. So he came up here to get a job, and he got introduced to a couple of bad people and got hooked. He wasn't on drugs when he left South Carolina. So he came here and he got hooked on crack, cocaine. And that's when he started spiraling out of control. And I'm very much of my people, and everybody who knows me, I'm a people person. I care about people, so we listened to his story. We got him a slice of pizza. He was very appreciative. He said, "All I want to do is go home and see my dad. He's like 96 years old. He doesn't have much time left. I want to get back home to see him, and I'm trying to make some money to get down there." So make a long story short, we bring him into court when the judge comes back on the bench, and the judge calls us up for a sidebar, which these judges never do because they're seeing so much volume. And the judge went on to explain to us that this guy, 2 years prior, saved a tourist from Texas that was pushed onto the subway tracks. It was all over the news. The guy was stabbed and thrown onto the subway tracks, and he was living in the subway. We picked him up from the Port Authority. He's in all of the, transit facilities. And Joe Fox knew of this guy. I had a conversation with Joe about this today, Chief Fox. So he said, "I'm going to release this guy and expunge his warrant. This guy's a hero." This is the judges telling us. And I was just like, I got a New York City judge telling me, a criminal court judge telling me that this guy he got the keys to the city from the mayor. So I went back. I didn't say a word to him. We got him released. We got the warrant expunged. And me and my partner looked at each other and said, "Let's do it." We brought him back to the Port Authority bus terminal, and we bought him the Greyhound bus ticket back to see his father. But we didn't trust him 100%. We needed to speak to his father. So we got his dad on the phone, and he spoke to us and said, "Detectives, I haven't seen my son in 3 years. I want to see my son," crackling voice. I almost started crying, and I'm not ashamed of it. I was really emotional. and it was $77. I'll never forget it. It was it would have been much cheaper if you bought it in advance, but right then and there, when we watched him get on the bus, the father took my phone number, my department cell phone, and he said, "I'm going to pay you back." And I said, "Okay, but don't worry about it." He goes, no, I'm going to pay you back. 2 weeks later, I got a phone call on that department cell, and it was from South Carolina. I didn't save the number, but I noticed it was South. I answered the phone, and he said, "I'm here with my son. You made my life complete." And he said, "I want your home address so I could send you the money." And I said, "I want you to send me the money." And he said, I insist. I want your home address." Well, he never sent the money to me, but he was sincere at that point. And it was just a good feel for my partner who was walking away. And for me, I had another 4 or 5 months or whatever it was. I just felt like, hey, this is something that I gave back. And it was a really great feeling inside to do that.
It's another segment, Mike, of why we serve.
Yeah.
Right there.
Exactly.
Another segment of why we serve.
I'm working in a police department that has 40,000 members, the largest police department in the United States. And these are the things that go on. It's not just my stories. There's many, many other cops that do that.
Stand-up guy.
Yeah. But right now, we won't get into that, what we're going through right now. But people have to keep that in the back of their minds, that there are good ones out there that risk life and limb and that also have a heart. And I'll tell you one more quick, very short story, because I know you guys got limited time. But I used to bring my kids recycled toys on Christmas Eve and Thanksgiving to work, because I worked all those holidays when I was on patrol. In the first decade of my career, I was on patrol. And I used to get a lot of flack from all the guys, like, hey, I got the DutyRon name from the police department because the duty captain used to always monitor the radio. I used to take all the calls and stack them up, and they said, "We don't need the duty captain, we got the DutyRon." So that's how I got that name. It came to me in 1992, and it stuck with me. But I used to bring the toys, and I'd give them to the kids as we went to the jobs. When we went to calls, and we saw that there was no Christmas tree or no presents under a tree, if there was one, and I would leave a toy with them. I'd have the bag in the trunk of the RMP, the Radio Patrol Car, Radio Motor Patrol, RMP we call them. And guys used to say, "You're a softie." And I said, "I'll serve Mr. Softie ice cream all day long. I don't care. I got my kids, got a bunch of stuff. They don't use it. I recycle it." And that's another thing that I used to do all the time.
God bless you, man. Good for you. Thanks, Ron, for sharing that. We're grateful. Mike, what are your thoughts?
Oh, no, I just want to call out a couple people. T-Dong Strong, thank you. Shannon Burgess Whittle, I like that. His dad, this is so much, she says it's beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you for caring so much. I think that speaks for everybody. And, Ron, you are right. I mean, you see it over and over again with cops. And if you watch the news and you want to find those, you see the cop who's paying somebody's property tax on their car so that they got a licensed vehicle, or you see them buying the transient on the street dinner. And, we always had a deal. I mean, you never wanted to just hand the transient money. We'd make them go into Denny's at 2:00 in the morning with us, and we'd make them eat a meal. And, they didn't want it very bad, but it was the best thing for them at that time.
My aunt is a Catholic nun. She's 87 years old, and she's still active with the Catholic Church. And she used to make me give her tube socks for Christmas. And she would go to Rikers Island and bring the inmates the tube socks for Christmas. And when I became a cop and she told me she was doing that, I said, "Aunt Joan, you can't do that. You're going to get hurt." So I used to go with her and give her the security guard kind of thing. And she would go in, hand a big sack of tube socks to the prisoners around Christmas time. And that's the way I was raised in a Catholic family, where you love thy neighbor, you do unto others what you'd want done to you. I treated everybody, not just in my police life, but my whole entire life, with the same respect and the same amount of the same type of treatment that I'd want to be treated with in the same situation. Because we're all just human beings. We make mistakes in life. People get behind the wheel of a car, and when they aren't supposed to, with the suspended license, that doesn't mean that they're criminal number one. You got to treat those people with respect. And if somebody made a mistake and I arrested them, and I made 1,000 arrests in my career, 1,000 times I've taken handcuffs and put them on people. And out of that 1,000, I have 5 complaints. and those 5 complaints were all unsubstantiated. I think that's a pretty good record for putting 1,000 people, bad guys, to jail, and
Yeah.
they've all thanked me. So
pretty dang good, actually. Over my shoulder, I don't know if you can see, there's a plaque on the wall from Ray Kelly that he gave me when he was police commissioner. And I know that Chris and I have known Bratton and especially most recently Jimmy. And
O'Neill.
I'm really sad, Ron, about what's happening in the city. And I don't want to end on a negative note for you, but there's a really, to me, a sad twist going on when you have somebody like Commissioner O'Neill stepping away because of what's going on. What are your thoughts? And I don't know, Chris, if you want to add anything to that.
I'll let Ron. Ron, what do you think? What are your thoughts?
Jimmy O'Neill was my boss for a little while. So
I didn't know that. Did you know that,
yeah,
Chris? I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't know
so Jimmy O'Neill is a cop's cop. He's a great guy.
Yes.
When he left the PC spot, I knew that he left not because he was going to take on a better job. He was basically forced to leave because of the Mayor de Blasio, and his policies. And Jimmy took as much as he could of it, because I've been in meetings with him in Comstat and going over warrant cases and fugitive. He was the CO of fugitive enforcement. And he's not the kind of guy that wants to just take a soft touch to crime. We could take a soft touch to low-level crimes, to quality of life crimes, but you can't take a soft touch to bad guys and bad people, because they take advantage. You give an inch, you take a yard. It's the same concept. And in New York City, you're not just dealing with regular criminals. And in any major city, you're dealing with criminal elements that are gang-related, that are drug-related, and all of the above. And these are not nice people. These aren't people that, hardworking, law-abiding citizens want to deal with. And that's why we have that job, to go out, and as you have your profiling evil, to go out and remove evil off the street. It's a job that most people would walk away from and would run away from. When we would hear shots fired at a housing development, 20 stories, we'd go running in while everybody's scattering like bugs. We were running in. So at the end of the day, when people are quick to say defund the police and the police are bad, when things get bad, those very same people, when they are shot on the street, as we saw in Minneapolis, as we saw in Kansas, and in all over the country, in all these different cities where these riots are breaking out, when these protesters are shot, they're calling for the police and they're calling for help. And it's ironic that happens, because just moments before that and days before that, they were breaking windows, lighting fires in innocent people's businesses, burning down buildings and desecrating cities. And then when they have trouble, they call for us. So it's an unfortunate situation. And I tell you this right now, the direction that we're heading in is a very bad road. It's a bad road we're going down, because it doesn't get better. It spirals out of control and it gets worse. And until the governors and mayors of these cities take charge, you're going to have this lawlessness where it's just going to spiral out of control. And I hope and pray every day that things will get better. And that's all we can do, guys.
Yeah.
So
They will get better, right?
yeah,
I mean, they'll get
think
better.
so. I think so.
So, I mean, I think we all just, kind of push forward. Mike?
Right.
Yeah, no, Ron. And I mean, we got to say goodbye to you, and that's going to upset a lot more people than us talking a little bit of politics right there.
I got to get to bed.
But yeah, we're worried about these older guys.
6 o'clock comes really soon.
But I don't know of a cop out there that doesn't think there's always room for us to get better in this profession and to do things
Called
more
community policing.
appropriately. And the opportunities are great for us to do that. At the same light, if the pendulum swings too far, it creates a public safety crisis, and I hope we don't hit that point. And Ron, I just want you to know we love you, brother, and I'm going to let Chris say the final comments, but thank you so much for coming on and for all your support. And
my pleasure.
It's just great to rub shoulders with you.
Yep. And when Chris is done, I want to just say one quick thing. So
Yeah, you can actually say it now if you want, buddy. Go
Okay.
ahead, fire away.
All right. So quickly before I exit, because Chris is looking to hit that button on me. I can hear it coming. This is like the Oscars where I'm starting to ramble on it. It's like seriously, the people who came and supported this live stream tonight from my channel, and all of the people who are sending positive messages in the chat. I want to just say how much that really means to me. And I know Chris and Mike feel the same way. The support through comments in the comment section, the super chats, the memberships, it all shows us that what we're doing means something to you. So I want to just tip my cap to the people here in the chat, all the people who support law enforcement, your local military, your local law enforcement, your military, your first responders, your teachers, your doctors, your lawyers. Stay true to yourself. And, you know, I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you guys for the opportunity. I hope I get the invite back. You know, I hope to
absolutely, and vice versa.
Yeah. I love to have you guys on my channel.
Yeah,
we'll have a good time.
We appreciate it. And thank you so much to everybody. I hope all of your subscribers who joined don't just dump us as soon as you hang
They're
up.
subscribing. My people are loyal. They're going to be here for you. So thank you.
And Ron, keep watching, because we're gonna hear from Andy Moorman, the brother of Suzanne Moorman, Morphew, I mean, and we're gonna also get a really, I think it's, to me, I'm really excited about it, a really special guest at the end of the show.
Yeah, if you guys could send Andy my regards and my well wishes, a lot of prayers and well wishes, and anything I could do for his family, I'm going to donate to his GoFundMe, definitely. And if there's anything I could do to help out, I'm always here. So thank you guys.
Absolutely. Don't, thank you. We'll,
we'll let Willie say, I was going to say, we'll let him say hi to Andy himself. But let's bring Andy in. I saw Andy waving to him in the back room, Ron. So if you can see, Andy was actually waving to you as you said goodbye. So,
I didn't see him, but I'm here. Hi, Andy.
Sorry.
Hey, thank you for your service. You're a great person.
I appreciate that, Andy. And like I said, just to Chris and Mike, if there's anything I could do for your family going forward, I mean, I'm here in New York, but I'm tough as nails. So if there's anything that you need on the side, I got a lot of contacts and I got a lot of people. So keep me in mind. These guys got my number. A lot of prayers for you, Andy. I'm hoping for the best.
Yeah, me too. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, guys.
Thanks, Ron. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Be safe.
Hey, guys.
Andy, how are you doing tonight?
Okay. Just winding the evening down.
How are you doing? What's the latest?
Let's see. Where are we at on our volunteers by now?
Mike, do we have that number?
I think we just got a number. Well, let me ask the producer again. In fact, I just asked him to find a picture of that race car too. You're at 300 now on our side, Andy, registering through our site. I don't know how many you've got on the ground from where you are. What do you got going?
5 today. So a couple of them airborne guys.
Nice.
Military. So that should be helpful. I told them I needed team leaders, so they were interested.
And you've got Tig on that list too from Benghazi.
Right.
John.
That's very important. Yeah, and I've been telling people that, and they're pretty excited about him being there.
Yeah, no, he texted me and he says, I'll put the word out to all of my military friends, and hopefully maybe some of those guys connected with Tig, but he's a great American, as we all know. And I know Mark Gesh is also going to try to make it down there. He's Oz. And for our listeners, if you've not seen the movie 13 Hours, these are 2 of the 4 guys that survived Benghazi attack in Libya. They are supporting Andy. And so they are the real deal, as well as everybody else who's jumped into this. Mike and I have been grateful to help support Andy. And Andy, tell us about the car up there that you got going up there.
Oh yeah, Saturday night was a little 500 in Anderson, which is a huge event. 33 sprint cars, and this is one of the 33. We were actually 34th. My buddy that you see standing there, Rob Kiesling, great guy. You couldn't ask for a better one. He's coming to search with me, but He missed getting qualifying by 1/10 of a second. The cars that did qualify were within 5/10 of each other. So
Oh,
the
wow.
race was fabulous. Very fast cars. Everybody was tight. And we were kind of, didn't want to wish ill on anybody, but I was kind of hoping one of them wouldn't start because he was first alternative. And I was standing up in the spotter stand with the earphones on. I was going to be a spotter that night, but it turned out I didn't have to be. So I got to watch the show from the stands with everybody else. Still had fun. And it was sure nice of Rob to put Suzanne on the car. And
Well, I mean, I think that was amazing. And you surprised us with that, Andy. A couple of folks have asked if we ended up paying for sponsorship. This isn't about sponsorships. This was about Suzanne. But why don't you tell us why you did that? And if I'm remembering everything, and from the pictures I saw, the car actually sat at the gates coming into the raceway, so every single person was there taking pictures of this.
yeah, absolutely. A lot of people looked at it. I was sitting on the rear wheel answering questions and asking for volunteers. And Rob did this for free. We're just great friends. And he is just a really super good guy. He and his wife, Gina, are just excellent people.
Yep.
That's amazing. So, Andy, a couple of questions that keep coming to us that maybe you can answer. I mean, number one, Chris and I feel so honored that you would allow us to just even give you a portal to collect names. And we've had people that fire questions off to us, which frankly we can't answer. We just keep pushing everyone to you. Mm-hmm. But part of the question is how this is going to be organized and what's going to happen when people show up. We will not be there on the ground, although every day we wonder if we ought to try to figure a way to get over there, but it's probably not going to happen. But our piece was pretty simple. It was to give you this portal, and we're going to give you the ability to track and manage and collect a little information from people as we go forward, similar to what they've done with you in sending you their best wishes online. But fill everybody in on what the plan is and how they're going to get information from you to know what's going to happen.
Okay. Well, the first thing I'll urge everybody to do is visit Profiling Evil, because all this information will be posted there. Secondly, the way this is going to work is I'm going to drive out on the 22nd. I will arrive there on the 23rd. That's one day before the search starts to happen. I'm going to devise team leaders at that point. I'm also getting with CBI and the Sheriff's Department, and I'm hoping that they're going to give me the EVI information off the truck. If they do, I can narrow our search area tremendously, and I think we could have some success. I'm getting some mixed signals from those guys out there. I said CBI, I said, the least you could do, you don't have to turn it over to me, but at least point me in the right direction according to the EVI information, which is electronic vehicle information they took from Barry's truck. He said, well, I'll talk to my superiors. So since then, I've called the the mayor of Salida is going to be contacted tomorrow by several of the citizens out there. And I also contacted the governor and left a voicemail and a email, both with him. And I'm going to see if I can push them a little bit to maybe encourage CBI and the Sheriff's Department to cooperate and help out. I mean, the Sheriff's Department, they need to. That's an elected position. And I can assure you that town of Salida is way behind this search. So yeah. it would be, I'm not being threatening, of course. I want to be cooperative with them and not compromise an investigation. But it would be in their best interest, I'm certain, with the public and everything to get on board. So what's going to happen is on the 23rd, I'll make a lot of these plans and I'll be able to answer a lot more questions. I will tell people this. The Gateway Motel out there is giving us great rates. They've got a great big conference room that'll hold 150 people, and it's free to us. So I reserved a block in the Gateway Hotel in Salida. Anybody wants to make reservations, just call there and tell them you're with the search party. You're good to go. So we'll meet at the visitor center on the 24th, and by that point, I will have a good solid plan put together where we're searching and how long and what's going to happen, and I'll provide the parties accordingly.
So we just put a number up on the screen for the Gateway Motel, and wow, that's amazing that they would do that and give you free space for things. Do you have to have any permits or anything in the town in order to get everybody assembled, or?
No, we do need to exercise, COVID rules, which would be masks, gloves, and distancing. But, we should be able to stay 5-6 feet apart, I think. I believe we can pull that off.
And Andy, if you can speak up a little, a few folks are having a hard time hearing you, so maybe that will help as well. I assume from the list that you're getting, you have a way of emailing all those people and keeping information flowing back and forth with them.
Absolutely, but mainly through you guys, if you want the truth of the matter. The Profiling Evil site, I'm talking with Chris and Micah every day, and any changes in plans or anything that comes up, we'll post it. So check it daily, check it often, and anything new, you guys will know it. There's this investigation out there. Seems to be a lot more information coming forward all of a sudden, and I'll let you guys elaborate on that if you want to.
Well, let me just mention, Teresa Webb just gave us a very kind donation, and thank you. Andy, one thing that I think would be helpful is if you could write up the things that you're talking about tonight, where people will be meeting, where they can call for hotel reservations. We've had some people say, now who will be at the airport to pick me up? I think you need to let people know that you're not providing shuttle services or whatever the case may be, so that folks can get a good sense. And we could certainly put that on our website so people can read that and have the most up-to-date information. And I got to just mention Kim Schlickler and Dena Jenna 21. Thank you so much again for your support. Andy, I don't know if you can see this, but there are almost 1,700 people online that right now listening to you talk. This is amazing, the amount of love that is being expressed for you and your family. Mary Dethy, Delzy, holy cow, thank you so much. Just so kind of everybody. And I am sure you're just getting inundated with people who are wishing well and wanting to help. What are the ways that you really need help?
Monetarily is important. And then organizationally, mainly. And really, guys, it's not as much about money as it is boots on the ground. So if you can make it out there, that's what I really need. You don't have to have a lot of experience. You just need to be reasonably healthy and able to walk. And we'll coordinate it from there. And mainly, that's what I need. I'm going to fund myself all the way out and back. And then the money that has been sent to me is going to be spent on that hotel and on food and necessities for the searchers.
So let's talk about that for a second. Any news on the other? Let's make sure that folks are clear. There are 2 GoFundMe accounts. Am I right, Andy?
That is correct.
Okay. So what kind of success are you having getting that money moved over to the search for Suzanne? How's that coming?
I haven't gotten any. That money is in Barry's name now, and that would be completely up to him to turn it over. So I got no power in that situation.
Okay,
and
so
don't necessarily want to have. You know what I mean? If he decides to do the right thing, he can do the right thing.
So how do people know which one to go to?
Go to Profiling Evil, search for Suzanne, and that's the one you want to donate to.
okay.
And we'll pull that up on the screen just so everybody sees it. It's actually you're getting top billing on our site, Andy. We've just pushed all of our content out of the way, and as people pull that up, they're going to see a place where they can register to help or to provide additional insight or content to you that they think is important. And then on the other side is a button to donate that goes to the GoFundMe that you have set up. And I thought there was something really important that I heard you say on one of the other channels or maybe it was Court TV. I can't remember. But you said that none of this money is being used by you. And I just want you to reiterate that.
Yeah, zero by me. I've got enough to fund myself out and back. And I had planned this before I ever set that up. So that's all on me. I'm also going to take care of some of my friends that are close to me and are leaving Alexandria with me. But the rest of it, you guys, it's all going to you searchers. Every dime. I won't come back with a penny of it. I don't need money. That's not what this is about. This is about finding my little sister and closure for my family only.
Right, right. How's your dad doing? I think a lot of people are going to want to know. How's Pops?
Well, pretty good. We're looking forward to getting these MRI results back this week, and we'll see from there. But spiritually, he's doing pretty good. He's awfully happy for the all the help and all the well givers that we've heard from, and he's really proud that I'm going to do what I'm going to do. So that feels good to me. That's one thing that feels good to me.
You know, there's a question that just came up, and forgive me for, hopefully I'm not going to be too personal here, but the question was, did Suzanne know that your dad, that your father, the two of you, your dad, had cancer before she went missing?
No, this is a recent development. So no, she did not.
Okay. Interesting.
You know, it's been interesting, Chris, to see all of the comments today. In fact, in every chat I've watched in the last couple of weeks, of the prayers that are being uttered in Andy and his family's behalf, in Jean's behalf, in Suzanne and Barry's behalf, but also those daughters who have got to be just reeling, trying to figure out what's going on. And I don't think we should ever lose sight that we don't know the answers to this big question. There's lots of behaviors that bother us, but there's lots of people to be praying for. And I loved a comment by Paula over at Plunder today, because she commented to Andy and she referenced it right back to Christianity and the fact that when there are more than two people, whenever two or more are assembled in my name, there I am also. This thought that as people pray, a uniting of faith will have a good effect. That good effect may just be peace for your mind. Hopefully it's the recovery of your sister, but it could be that it ends up being just nothing more than peace, knowing you've done everything you can. And I just got to salute you, because people say, why wouldn't you? You're trying to do everything you can. And I just really salute you.
Yeah. I mean, I have to give it my best effort. I honestly do. I can't live with myself if I don't. I think my sister would have done it for me. I'm sure she would have. And, you know, there's really nobody left in my family but me to do this. So I got to get this done. And I need a lot of help. So volunteers, please. Money, I thank you for. But volunteers is the most important thing of all. Experienced hikers, bikers, cavers, climbers, you name something in the mountains, we need it. Dogs, horseback, need it all. And I honestly think we can have some success. I also need the cooperation of the authorities out there, and I'm going to keep hounding on them until I get it.
I can't imagine why you wouldn't. If it were my town you were coming to with several hundred people, I'd want to have some control over that big old batch of people. So I pray that that's happening. I know you got your mayor involved, and I assume he's reaching out and doing the political thing. I don't know.
Yeah, he will. I haven't asked him yet to call out there, but I'm certain he will. Yeah, I'm going to do that tomorrow. Of course, it's Labor Day weekend, so nobody's doing anything today except me.
Yeah, and you know, and across the world, the folks that can't make it, that they're in there, they're there in spirit, and they're supporting you, Andy.
Oh yeah, I can't believe the other countries that have reached out. It's just unbelievable. People everywhere. And it's unbelievable to me.
It's been absolutely amazing, the amount of support of people jumping in. So, quick question: what are you hearing on the street? Any new developments that you're hearing that you feel comfortable talking about. I don't want to go too much into things that we know already, not right now, but
Well,
you know,
I'm getting a little feedback that maybe this 5:00 a.m. I woke up and saw my wife laying in bed asleep timeline may get shot to hell. Now, I don't know for sure. We'll see. I think Lauren Sharp stumbled onto some things, and I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to let her do that. But it's leaning more and more, is looking a lot more suspicious. The hotel room smelling of chlorine. What's that all about? I mean, you guys got an idea? I got no clue.
It all depends what YouTube channel you listen to. Because one says, you know, it stinks of chlorine, and the other says, well, I just walked into the hotel, you can't smell chlorine. But if you listen to the people that actually were in the room, they smelled chlorine. So, you know, the great thing that Mike and I love about this is we haven't smelled chlorine. You know, it's we weren't there. Okay, but I can tell you this. I agree with you. I think Lauren Sharp this week is going to blow the doors off of a lot of cars going down the road. And I know she shared some things with you. So we'll just leave it at that because you're the family. And I know you shared those things with us. So we're just going to kind of set it right there. But we will tell our viewers, if you want to know what's going to go on, put your seatbelts on. It's coming. It's going to be pretty interesting this week.
Stay tuned
What
to
do you?
Profiling Evil. You'll hear it. You'll hear it all.
Well, listen to Lauren first, and then, then come back to us.
Yeah, and I don't know, is she on tonight, Chris, with information, or is it this week where you're thinking that something might come up?
I think she's got like 4 or 5 pieces coming.
Yeah, so that's something to think about. Hey, Andy, what do you think about this? You know, we keep talking about this incredible CSI team we have, crowdsourced intelligence. What do you think about this group maybe taking a shot at sending the sheriff a little note and an email or tweeting to the county sheriff to please support you in this effort? Well, the thing that I worry about is I don't want you to get there with people that aren't familiar with the area. And I know you have a lot of people from Salida that are going to be there that can be kind of the local knowledge. But I don't know. We ought to invite some people to reach out and plead with that sheriff to support you in this event.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see that. They can also reach to the governor and possibly the state representative for Colorado. You know,
well, you're from Colorado and you know your representatives. I think what Andy's doing is saying he needs some help getting the politicians locally to provide them some support. He's not asking them to give bodies. And I was really troubled when I read the last press release from the sheriff's office, and we're the guys that love the cops, Andy. So I'm just prefacing what I have to say with that. But the sheriff in that press release says we've had 100 people involved in the search. That's really laudable, but you're talking 300, 400, 500 people that you're ready to walk in with. That sheriff's office would never have that kind of volume of personnel. If they would step up and help coordinate this, I think it would just be wonderful. And again, we know that their hands are full. I don't think you're asking for the sheriff's office. You're asking for people from the sheriff's office to support you.
Yeah, I mean, Colorado Search and Rescue would be wonderful. If there's 100,
yeah, those guys are great. But they reached out to you. They reached out to you so far, right? So hopefully
some of them
they're coordinating. Yeah.
If they'll jump on board, that adds 100 to my cause. And they're smart. They know the territory. They know the mapping. They understand the drone search. They've got everything we need. And that would be wonderful. And I'm really hoping, people, if you're out there and you're listening to me, please give a call, give a shout out, do an email, ask them to support it. Remember, these are elected officials and your voice counts, just like your vote counts.
Yeah, and I think what you need, right, Andy, is what you're saying early on, is you need experienced folks, either in mountains, search and rescue, military background, any kind of law enforcement, any public safety, anybody who's coordinated a large type of search such as this, and you're going to be broken up into various particular regions potentially, right? I mean,
Right.
folks are going to go over here, folks are going to go over there. So what you need is team leads, if I understood you correctly.
Yeah.
You need folks within that core group that can step up to that capability. And let me tell you, from what I'm seeing in some of the, people that are signing up here, you're going to get those folks. They're going to be on site and they're going to be there. And,
Right.
we're, again, just honored to have an opportunity to support you and your family. I mean, and again, we are focusing on the fact that there are 2 other young girls that are also missing their mother.
Yeah.
And we're very sensitive to that. So, everybody just needs to leave them alone.
Yeah.
Let them live their life. These are your nieces. Okay.
That's right.
And so we also want to get that messaging out. I know you mentioned that to me earlier today. So
yeah, I mean, those little girls have been put through a blender, Mike, and Chris, they just don't really know what to think, what to do. I mean, I can't imagine being in their shoes and what I'd be thinking. And I don't want them to have to think about what we're doing. I want that they may be very happy that we're coming out there and hopefully we'll find their mother. And that's the only thing they need to worry about. So no harassment of any kind to them, please.
Yeah.
They don't deserve that. They've gone through a nightmare. They're still going through a nightmare.
Yeah. Yeah.
Andy, how has your faith increased?
Oh, tremendously. Like I said, I can't believe the people that are interested in helping. And like I said, when this is all over and done with, however it turns out, I hope we start a movement here where we can all do this again for someone else and pay this forward. I'd be happy to.
Well, I hope you know how much we love you, Andy. We have felt so honored, and I'm going to let Chris kind of say whatever he wants to say to close out chatting with you. But I want to ask you if you'll hang around in the green room and watch this next guest, because I'm going to introduce you all to somebody that I have unmatched love and admiration of, and I'm probably going to get emotional. So who knows? We'll see. But thanks, Andy. Chris, what do you got?
Well, I think just in its simplistic form, number one is Andy, people are going to say things that are just not going to be true, and they're going to try to hurt. And that's what people do. Sometimes. It's the old saying is it's more about them than it is about you. And so just look past that. I can tell you, being on the streets as many years as Mike and I were and working, many, many homicides and with victims' families, whenever they attack the victim, then that is not necessarily, or attack what the victim was doing. Okay, then they have no touch in reality, because I can tell you, I have stood over the bodies of prostitutes, of drug dealers, of gang members. I mean, and I'm not talking gang members, I'm talking hardcore gang members. I've stood next to serial killers. I've interviewed these guys like Mike and others. And guess what? If any one of them died, they had a story. And that's what we're telling here is a story. And this story is about your little sister. And thank goodness you have the courage to let all of that stuff roll off your back and let it go. Okay. And that you've had the clarity of focus for Suzanne. Because quite frankly, for 65 days, she disappeared. Literally. For the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, since you came forward and said, I want to find my sister, I just read about her in England on the front pages of those newspapers over there. I just saw her on the front page of Fox News. Okay. You keep going, buddy. We support you, and everybody on this channel, in this chat tonight, and hundreds of thousands of other people, I'm sure of it, support you. You know, don't lose the focus, buddy. Don't lose the focus.
I'm driven, Mike. That can't happen. That's just not possible. This
I know
train's
that.
running down the track full speed. I'm not stopping.
Okay. All right. Well, you got a lot of love coming your way, Mike.
Thanks, Andy. I think maybe we better have you back each week as we get closer, so that you can just give people an update on where you are on your efforts. And folks, will continue to make that at the main page of profilingevil.com. You can sign up to support Andy in the search effort. You can also go to the GoFundMe page and support them financially if you're not in a position to help. And we were just contacted by Web Sleuths, who are just great friends of ours, and they are committed to paying for some of the food while you're there. So you got people that are trying to do everything they can to help. And Tricia, you offered that a week ago, and I've not had a moment to talk to Andy yet until right now. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
But we'll talk to you.
Just one more quick thing for me. I'll tell you,
Yes.
when I'm out there searching every evening, when I come in beat tired, I would like to update everybody on our progress.
Absolutely.
Good or bad. We should do
We will make
evening.
we will make this show available for you to do that.
Okay, that'd be great.
Is there anything we didn't ask you, Andy? I'm sorry, Mike, that
No.
you think to that point that you feel is important that you want to share with everybody tonight?
I want to tell everybody once again, thank you. It brings tears to my eyes that you're willing to help me like this. And I'll tell you, it's a tough position to be in, but you guys are making it a lot easier for me. You really are. I feel the strength. I feel the strength of all the people behind me. I really do. Friends, the mayor, and all the people that visit this site that wish well. Thank you.
Thanks, Andy.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you.
All right. We'll talk tomorrow, bud.
Yeah. Tracy, thank you. Nat man, I saw you earlier. Thank you so much. Holy cow, you folks are just so amazing. And please make sure that you're keeping Suzanne in your prayers, and those of you that can do something, do it. We have really been honored, haven't we, Chris, to help out here?
He's a good man. He's a good man. You know, he's on a mission. He's looking for his sister. I mean, that's the bottom line with this guy.
Yeah, and thanks for reminding everybody. Those sweet daughters deserve our prayers, not any other questions and other kinds of things. I think I will always wonder why the money in that GoFundMe account's not being just obligated over. Maybe it will be, but those just seem like, I mean, that's exactly what it says it was there for. But Chris, I want to shift gears. I didn't plan on doing this, but something happened in the last 24 hours that prompted me to do this. You know, I've been writing a book about an experience I had 30 years ago involving a polygamist and religious cult that was sexually abusing children. Folks, this cult actually caused more than 4,000 rapes of children during the course of this investigation that I handled. And at the end of the day, I was so honored to lead a team of 70 police officers as we raided the compound and took 32 children into protective custody. And we like to think that we rescued them. But before I go any further, I want to just introduce someone, and then I want to read something. So I'd like to introduce Amber Dawn Lee, a beautiful woman from Southern California. She's an actress and a comedian. And Amber, just say hello to everybody.
Hi, how are you?
Folks, Amber, 30 years ago, was a child victim of a predatory pedophile. And I came to know her many years ago. In fact, Amber, I often remind you, our first meeting was actually when you were in a school in Arizona, and I came to interview you about this group. Do you want to share with anyone how you responded to the police when they came and asked you questions?
Oh, I You go ahead. I don't know. I think I told them that I followed God's law, not the law of the land. Is that right?
This teenager, basically, Chris, tuned me up as an investigator and set me straight and sent me on my way from Arizona. That was an awfully long flight home after talking to Amber.
Oh, sorry about that.
But we actually created a friendship over the years. And about 2 years ago, Amber called me one night and asked me if I could speak to her about some of the abuse that she endured as a part of this cult. I will apologize once more to this sweet woman because I wasn't ready to talk about this case back then, and I politely declined and wished her the very best in getting on with her life. But I couldn't get her out of my mind, and I kept going back and dusting off. You know how you keep those case files of major cases that you've handled, and I kept dusting it off, and I prepare myself to look into the case, and then I just put it away. And folks, literally, this was thousands of counts of rape of children in this case. It was a terrible experience for those who were there, and it was hard on the police officers that investigated them. But after a while, I repented and reached back out to Amber, and we went to work in trying to locate the rest of the victims. And about April or May of this year, we brought together, now keep in mind, Chris, there were 32 children that were taken into protective custody. In April of this year, we brought together Amber and a bunch of the children that she hadn't seen in 30 years on a phone call for the first time. Amber, share what that was like for you.
Well, it was pretty surreal. It was really great seeing everybody. It was, not even 5 minutes in when we were all very childlike again and sharing stories and laughing and just catching up on where we are in our lives. And we kind of felt like we were like just a bunch of like sneaky little children getting to, talk on a Zoom call when really we're just, we're all grown up and have really moved on. So it's really been healing to reconnect with those that really understand, what I've been through because they've been through it too.
It was amazing, Chris. And after that call, I talked to Amber because I had a special memory, and it was that she had had a very special thing taken from her in these cults. And without revealing the thing, Amber, could you explain why such important personal items were stripped of people in a cult?
We weren't allowed to have anything that was personal that we got from what was now the outside world. And if we had like a connection to it, if we really liked it, or it was a worldly carnal item, anything that could take your attention away from what it was that you were supposed to focus on, whether it be an object or even our clothing. And in some cases, they would change the person's name as well. So just to really kind of like strip you of anything that you care about. If you care about something, then it could be a threat to the leaders and the self-proclaimed prophet and other abusers that are there that want complete control over everything.
So Amber, I'm going to ask Tyler to pull up a picture of you when you were a child living in that group. And just because I love the look back and the hairstyles and everything else. And I want to just leave this up for a moment while I read something from my book. It was something that you shared with me, and then I want to talk about it a little. Is that okay?
Sure, yes, go ahead.
All right. So I'm going to kind of drift my eyes off so I can read this. This is from the book that will be coming out, we believe, in November on the Zion Society in this criminal case. And this is from Amber, from her childhood diary. One afternoon, upon returning home, I found a package wrapped and sitting on my front porch. My sisters and I ran to see what it was. It was a beautifully wrapped present. I picked it up and we ran inside with it. My mother struck a match and lit the kerosene lamp that we had. Yes, our electricity had been turned off again. There was a small note scotch taped to the present, and it said, "To Amber, from someone who loves you." She says, I was giddy. I opened it slowly and carefully. The wrapping was so much like Christmas paper, but it wasn't December. Inside the box, there was the most beautiful handmade Raggedy Ann doll. It was laying atop decorative crinkle paper. She had black yarned hair, which I felt was just for me because I had black hair. How did this person know that I was always self-conscious about having darker hair? My sisters were blonde. I wanted to feel like I was a part of and not different from those around me. I wanted to look like my family, but I didn't. The doll looked like me. She had blue eyes. She wore a dress made out of shiny satin with an apron and even lacy bloomers underneath. I couldn't believe it. I searched the doll for a clue, but there wasn't one. Just a heart made of string on her chest. Just a simple red heart. But I still didn't know where she came from. To say I was overjoyed by her is an understatement. She was the best thing that could have possibly happened to me. Do you think my real mom left this for me? No. Do you know who it's from? No. Do you think my real mom knows where we live? No. And I'm your real mom. I mean my biological mom. No, your biological mom was a drug addict. I know, but the note said they love me. Who could it be? I don't know. Isn't it fantastic? My dad uttered as he walked out of the room. Amber says, I was smiling, laughing, and crying all at once with happiness. Everything in my life in that moment felt perfect and whole. I had no idea who had given me the gift, but it was just perfect at the perfect time. I cried myself to sleep so often, but tonight I wouldn't. I held her close. Someone loved me enough to do this for me. Okay, I had never felt happier than I did in this moment. Somebody really loved me. This demonstration of kindness affected me deeply. I always felt different. I always felt lost. I always felt uncomfortable in my own skin. I had an empty space that she immediately filled. Her heart was made from cloth, thread, and the compassion of a stranger. But she came as a surprise for me. She was very special. So Amber, thanks for letting me share that. Tell people what that little doll meant to you.
Well, that doll symbolized a lot for me. She was a mother, father. She was a protector. She was my secret keeper. I was living in a very traumatic existence because of the choices of the adults around me. So I found a lot of solace in that doll. And also I was, with the emotional abuse that I also had, I felt very worthless. And to have something that came just for me for no reason, it was, just not even knowing who it could be. It kept me more open to somebody out there does love me. I don't know who, but somebody loves me. So if something abusive happened to me again, instead of pulling that abuse more inside, I was able to go to my doll and be like, well, it's okay because somebody loves me. So, and I cried a lot of tears into that doll and, took her with me on a lot of journeys, and then we were, you know, in the group, and because I had such an attachment to my doll, and I was, you know, intended to be a prophet's wife as a child, they took my doll away from me so that I could not have any worldly or outside connections. They called them a carnal connection, which meant that the devil was, and the adversary and everything was symbolized in my doll, which that's not what it was for me. It was quite the opposite. So that was the time when I really, you know, I lost a lot of faith, you know, went into a very deep and defiant depression.
Yeah. So Chris, from a behavioral perspective, if you wanted to break this little kid, what are you going to do?
Yeah, I mean, so thinking of the psychology of isolation, right? These are 100, and you know, I've got to say, first of all, before I even go down this lane here, Amber, good for you empowering yourself to get to this point tonight and to get here and just to share this, share this story. I mean, I'm riveted, probably like everybody else in here. Mike did not tell me he was bringing you on here tonight, by the way.
Surprise, it's a girl.
But so the isolation behavior of sexual deviant behavior, right? These guys, and 99.9% of them are men. And of course, the women are the enablers, and probably that 1% will also participate in the sexual abuse as a whole.
In our group specifically, the women were just as much, if not more, abusive than the men sexually towards the children. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that. And that's, you know, that enabling behavior and that violence of that sexual abuse to a child and to a woman is unacceptable across the world. And just the mentality, though, the mindset of, you know, these perpetrators, where everything is about taking your identity away, just as you've said, right? And putting you into a modified secondary personality box for them. And all of it is about their fantasy process and how they can get the victim, you and others, into this box that fits into that control mechanism. And so by taking all the things that you know are dear to you, you know, and then isolating you from the real world, those are total 100% control mechanism. But I do have a quick question, though. You know, forgive me, my curiosity's killing me. I'm looking behind you, and I see a doll up on the ledge behind you. What's the story there?
Okay,
well,
so
that's an interesting question, Chris.
Okay.
And it's interesting you picked that up. Yeah. So this little doll remained in my memory for 30 years. And as Amber and I reacquainted and started bringing everyone together to talk through this, we thought there would be kind of a fun little surprise for Amber. So let's just play that, Tyler, if we can. And Amber, you can talk to this after. And the reason this came out today was because Amber put this on her YouTube channel. So I had to hurry and talk about it tonight because she scooped me on this. But a few days ago, I had one of the other children who were in this cult and were victimized. She is leaving the country with her husband, and she was going to visit Amber, who she had reunited with in April when we finally brought all the kids back together. And I call these beautiful 40-year-old women kids now. Wow. But let's share this experience, and I hope you all enjoy this. Oh, we forgot to turn the sound on, I think, but we're doing it right now.
Can you show them the doll?
Not yet. Chris, okay. You just need to button your lips for just 1 minute.
I'm so
You
sorry.
already gave up the doll.
I'm sorry. I didn't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're doing this little video. This is for Mike King.
What?
He had a gift that he wanted to present to you
What?
and asked us to record.
No way. Yes. Are you serious? No. Oh my gosh, I didn't even pay attention to what this was you were carrying around.
I know, I didn't even have to come up with a nice answer. She
Oh
didn't
my
even
gosh.
Yes, she is
have
famously
an
not
elaborate plan
creative.
for everything just in case.
No way. No way, no way, no way. I have chills. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. It's just like her. Right. Oh my god. This one looks just exactly like her. Thank you. Oh my god. Oh my god.
There's a letter from the woman that made it in there as
Oh my
well.
god. Oh my god. I can't even believe this. The dress is exactly like the. Oh my god. I like. How? Oh my god. This looks just exactly like her though. Like I've seen other rag dolls that have dark hair, but they don't have like this is like this Christmas kind of like a themed dress. It's exactly like how hers was. It's so unreal. Like I'm just like I'm shaking. I'm just.
So, Chris, there you go. Amber, would you show them your little doll? To Amber with love from somebody who loves you.
Yep.
And I thought there was something really special on the front as well.
Yes, and on the front,
And maybe you could talk about that.
she's got her little heart.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And she's exactly the same doll. Exactly the same doll.
Does she have a name?
Her name is Christine Ann, which is like Raggedy Ann, but different. The same, but different. And yeah, so it's like a full circle. Life is always going to end up okay. So, it's also very symbolic of the things that were taken away from me, as a child and in that group and in that cult from, the abusers. And now it's like taking back my life and being given a trophy for it. So it feels good.
Chris, it was interesting. We, Bonnie and I reached out to the Raggedy Ann doll company, and they have kind of gone out of business, but they found this wonderful woman named Lucille, who for 48 years has been making Raggedy Ann dolls. And when Lucille heard Amber's story and read that remark from her diary, she stepped up and made that doll for Amber. And Amber, that we love you, and I'm just so proud of you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
So what has bringing all these kids together and going through this process the last 4 months, 5 months that we've been going through meant to you?
It's been really surreal. I guess I say that word a lot because everything feels that way right now, but it was just mostly healing. I felt like I was at home when I was around the other girls on the Zoom call, just talking with them. Banter back and forth was fun and snappy, and I felt completely at home. It was interesting to me to just also see how the events of what happened to us affected each one of us in such different ways in certain areas, and in other areas, you know, the way that we were affected, some was different, some was the same. Just, yeah, it was a moment for sure. It was definitely one of those like magical moments, because it doesn't happen every day that you get to speak with everybody that really mattered to you as a kid, because that, you know, the trauma and the FBI raid and everything was, you know, dispersed after that, thankfully. And we're all still in contact too. It was nice. Dawn came out here to visit, and I went out to Utah and visited and saw her there. And Laura and Andrea, we're still friends. And I'm saying all of their names, and maybe I shouldn't, but all of it was great. Yeah.
You also made a surprise visit to the neighborhood.
I did.
And I got this amazing. I was in the mountains, Chris. I got this amazing video from these kids down harassing the old neighborhood. Tell them what that was like for you, and how hard or how easy that was.
It was so strange, because when we were there, we were, you know, to admire the homes and to admire the yards, and everything had just like really fallen apart with age and time, and the world didn't end, and the homes are still there, and you know, there's a guy outside fixing his bike, and life is going on. And it was a really big I told you so. I knew that they weren't telling the truth, you know, and that this wasn't the only place in the world that was going to stay in existence. Is that one small neighborhood in Utah.
Wow.
So, folks, in this case, we charged and convicted 12 adults. Of those 12 adults, that represented 757 rapes of children. And the self-proclaimed leader of this group finally died in prison a few years ago. And Amber, what was that like for you when that happened?
It really affected me when I found out that he had died, because, you know, for many years I kept feeling like I had so much that I wanted to say to him, so much that I would say if ever, you know, given the opportunity, because I never had a chance to confront him as an adult. And then after he died, it was too late. But, you know, upon reflection, I realized just how much of a narcissistic person he was to begin with, because he's not going to apologize to me. And from those that did visit with him, all he would say is like, well, the guards just think I'm so nice and that I shouldn't be here. And so the abusers, I think they keep abusing and keep believing their own lies. So him being gone, I did also feel a weird kind of a sadness, and I don't know what that was about either. But I felt like a sadness of like, and now what? You know, still kind of a feeling. We were all kind of waiting to see what would happen. And
well, it for me was a defining moment in my career and changed the whole direction of my career. But as we've talked about, I never stopped thinking of Amber or the kids, as I continue to call them, and how rich my life is today because I get to talk to them and their wonderful husband, Amber, who put together this scheme with me to get you. And this beautiful mother has excelled with nightmares that no child should ever have to remember. And we're going to have her back when we do the Zion Society podcast. And you and I are going to visit with her a lot. And while I talk about what we were doing in the investigation, she's going to be talking about what they were doing behind the scenes to beat us. And
before you go there, I have to know what you've got an acting career now, and you're a comedian, and you're living in LA. I got to know what you're doing. Come on, let's get to that too.
I'm mostly just doing my husband.
Okay.
But,
I work with her. I'm constantly working with her.
Okay, the comedy side. Got it.
I'm only saying that because he just walked in and is shaking his head like, at some point you're going to have to embarrass me. It is the comedian in me. But no, I was doing a lot of stand-up comedy before, coronavirus hit. And, right now I've had a chance to really take a real good look and reflect on all of the things that have happened and try to find ways that I can turn these things, turn these magic moments that I'm getting, like with receiving this doll from Mike, and find ways to be able to, do it for somebody else, because, and also to remember that how important it is also for the adults of abuse, because when you turn 18, you're not in the system and you're very easily forgotten until you're back in the system or addicted to drugs or trying to survive in all of the wrong industries, so it doesn't hurt to send an adult a doll. And I just wanted to say thank you, Mike King, for sending me that. And I love it. I love having her here. She has been, doing this thing with me out here for, quarantine. I have her sitting out by the pool. I have her sitting beside me painting, and she's my little companion again right now. So it's
do you sell your artwork and stuff that people could go and buy some of your artwork? I mean, we'd love to put that, put it in the deal below our YouTube channel, or you have a YouTube channel? What can we do for you? How can we help you?
I do have a YouTube channel, and it's Amber Dawn Lee. So if you just go to YouTube and type in my name, something will come up.
Okay.
And another way is my Instagram is Amber in the Valley.
Okay.
AMBERINTHEVALLEY. So that's the best way to reach me. I'm stumbling over my words right now because we've been in this quarantine for so long. I've stopped talking to people. So I'm like out and about and talking to a lot of people, but I forget when I'm only talking to my dogs all day or my husband how to speak.
So what advice or what has worked for you to empower you to get to this place where you can talk about what you're doing? You remind me of, have you read the book, A Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl?
No.
Okay. Can I make a recommendation when you get a chance? Okay.
Sure.
All right. So that is a great book. It's called A Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. And then there's a second book called The Choice. Okay. And just real fast, Viktor Frankl was a survivor of Auschwitz. Okay. And he talks about a therapy. He's a very, very successful and very professional, or a very renowned psychologist. And he was writing the book when he was arrested. And he had the manuscript under his arm when he got off the train in Auschwitz and he was walking towards the officers. And as the officer turned him around, the manuscript fell out. And he came out of that whole experience up here memorizing the entire book. And that is the book, A Man's Search for Meaning. Okay.
Wow.
I think you will find that book. I think you will relate to that book, and in so many ways, because I see reflecting from you this incredible light of power. Okay. And this incredible gift that you have to give to the world. I think people are absolutely gonna say, I need to know what Amber is about. And so you keep going. I cannot wait to see some of the great things that are coming your way, and it's going to be fun to see. It really is. So, A Man's Search for Meaning.
A Man's Search for Meaning. Got it.
Man's Search for Meaning. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Now, Amber, I'm going to give you a chance to say goodbye to everybody with anything that you think would be relevant. But I first want to preface it with, if you go to Amber's channel, it can sometimes get a little on the edge. So just remember that I'm giving you a little pre-notice. I've counseled with her. She does not listen to me even today. 30 years have not made a difference in that strong-willed personality that you see sitting in front of you. Amber, anything you want to say to these wonderful people? Do you know there's 1,500 people sitting on right now listening to you?
Oh, wow. Okay, great. Hi. Just thanks for listening to the story and being a part of this show. It's really cool what you're doing, Mike. And, pardon me?
No, I thought. Don't worry about my name. I'm not important. And I mean that.
Yeah, I'm definitely a rebellious soul. I think that I learned, when I was in the group, if it's bad, do it. So.
You are going to be so fun to do a podcast with. And folks, we're going to be back. We're going to do the Zion Society case after the book comes out. So probably around the first of the year, Amber, we'll kick off. And once the book's been on the shelves for a couple of months, we'll go in and we'll invite you and the other kids on, and we'll just talk through. We're going to have the police officers who were there on the day of the raid sharing some of the experiences they had. We're going to have folks that have an intimate knowledge of why certain things were happening. We're going to be talking about cult mentality and why people fall for this baloney and how easy it is to convince people to do something that is just so foreign to them. And like boiling the lobster, it doesn't happen at once. Or by boiling the frog, I guess it is, where it's slowly turning up the heat until people are buying off on this thing. But the difference was you and 31 other children didn't have a choice. You were forced, you were victimized, and you were compelled. And it took a lifetime for you to work through those things. And I just will never, ever stop loving you and thinking about you kids. And I just look forward to when we do this again.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Have a good night, Amber.
Watching it also. So.
Well, thank you, Chris. We've had quite a night, and I think we should see if people have some questions, because we haven't even given folks a chance to. This has been our choir practice, not somebody else's, and it certainly was choir practice for me tonight.
Yeah, no, this was deep, Mike. This was deep, and this is what choir practice is, right? I think we get a great opportunity to meet women like that who've empowered themselves through just an amazing amount of I can't even comprehend it. I cannot comprehend it, and so therefore I'm not going to even try. But I've also know my friend, you. I know what this has been, for you, and how you got to a place where you had the courage to accept some of the things internally to go after this, so God bless you too, Mike. This is good. Amber is just amazing. Thank you, Amber. Thank you. Just so many people I know are you're going to heal them too. You're going to give them the opportunity to move forward. Maybe they're struggling, or maybe they know somebody struggling. Just the FBI the other day kicked in doors all around the country. It was a massive, recovery for these children. And I think they pulled 39 kids or 32 or 39 kids just in Georgia alone.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And imagine that's in a state. Imagine, Chris, we did that in one little community, in one cult. And according to the experts, there are 6,000 cults in the United States alone that are operating. Stephanie Herb asked about, were both men and women prosecuted? Yes. In fact, it was a really difficult thing. We'll talk about more in the book and when we do the podcast, but both men and women were arrested in this case. And frankly, we stopped at 12 because it took us several years to get through those 12 through the criminal justice system. And we couldn't keep making these children testify. So we eventually chose to not prosecute other cases and left literally more than a dozen other offenders who should have gone to prison free, because we couldn't continue to destroy these children's lives. So was Zion another offshoot of LDS? Zion is actually a term that started even back in Old Testament times. And many faiths have used this idea of Zion, and we'll talk a lot about religious influence on these kinds of cases, and the fact that it's really not indicative of the religion, it's indicative of the predator who prostitutes these belief systems.
Yeah.
Dra Latina, thank you. How much we appreciate you. This as Chris kind of mentioned, was kind of an interesting process for me to go through. Chris,
Since how did Amber leave the cult? And Mike, you did break the case. So how did she get out after you plugged hooked them all up?
So folks, we actually had an inside informant who couldn't live with the fact that she was involved in sexual abuse of children. And we'll talk about it more. The book explains it in detail. I don't want to kind of give it away, but we had information that started to break this case open, gave us the opportunity. But because we were so fearful of the children that were involved and the magnitude, there were about 120 adults in this cult. Chris, we actually, when the case fell in my lap, the charge was, if children are being injured, we've got to move quickly. And we literally worked round the clock for 5 weeks until we actually served the search warrant. In hindsight, I look back and I just wonder how on earth we did it. But I think we were just driven by the fact that we had to protect these little kids.
Yeah. And, you got a question. What's the name of your book?
So we don't know the name of the book yet. We teased a little bit. It's going to be Profiling Evil, and then it's going to talk about this group. And the title will come out. We're going to actually, our producer has decided that maybe the best thing to do is, because we have so many loving friends on this channel, that we do a limited edition that we sign and number, and we do a first release, and then we put the books up for sale. And so the book is written. We're doing some editing. And I suspect we're hoping by November we can get this thing out. And I hope you'll all buy it for Christmas, because it's an amazing story. And then if you all buy it,
Empowering story. Story.
It is.
Yeah.
It's not a story about the predatory behavior. It's a story about these victims who rose above it and became survivors and champions, and about this cult mentality. But the way in which we got the confessions, I think you're going to be really intrigued by.
Yeah.
So
Mary D wants to ask me a question. Ask away, Mary. What do you got? What's your question? And by the way, while she's doing that, we think, Chris, are you Jane Doe that was killed by some guy who brought her from Mexico? I'll tell you, I worked in Southern California, and I had a lot of capers from where bad guys were, from Mexico, and then vice versa. I got to tell you one of the craziest stories, though. It was kind of crazy, back into, shifting gears based on this quick question here. My craziest witness that I ever had was on a piece of plywood in a tree. And the victim was below him, and he witnessed the entire murder. That guy was from Mexico. When I got there, when the team got there, and how we all circle up, right, Mike? And, you're dividing up, okay, who's going to do what? And I pulled the case on it, and I looked over and I said to one of the officers in the circle, I said, so where's our witnesses? And he goes like this. And I'm like, and I look up, and here comes this little guy, puts his head over. He goes like that. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. No, you can't make this stuff up. I'm like, holy cow.
You cannot make that up.
He lives in that piece of plywood up in a tree, and he witnessed the whole thing. So there you go. Will it be an ebook, Mike? Back to your book.
Yes, we'll also do an ebook, especially for those overseas. It's just so hard to ship anymore. So yeah, we'll have ebook, and we're going to have some nice things. Who sent her the doll? I sent her the doll, and I had a 71-year-old woman make that doll from scratch based on Amber's childhood diary. It was a real blessing.
No, Mary, you're not dumb in any way, shape, or form, and you're right. I have been down there on numerous occasions, and we've got some great stories that we'll share with you down the road. But so please don't think that. I appreciate your question. Thank you. What was the cult leader's name? You want to give that up yet, or are you going to wait?
No, you can look him up. His name was Arvin Shreve, Shreeve.
How do you spell
And,
that? I'm teasing.
And
Arvin, his parents must have been angry.
And the amazing thing, folks, was that he fled. It took us about 4 days to locate him. I had to travel to pick him up, and he immediately asked for an attorney. Because we had pre-planned and anticipated that might happen, we had a strategy in place. And by the time he arrived at the jail, he had confessed. And I'll just tell you one funny story, Chris. We had this judge named Ziegler who would have these little oxygen tubes in his nose, and whenever he'd get stressed out, you'd see him reach down and turn up his tank to get a little more oxygen flowing. And on the day that he was sentenced to prison for the rest of his life, this predatory pedophile asked me to come and stand next to him while he was sentenced in the courtroom. And when he asked if I could come up, I watched Judge Ziegler reach down and crank up the tank. And so I stood there with my arm around him while we sent him to prison for the rest of his life. And the only sad thing is that there weren't 757 life sentences for him to serve. So
yeah, and that's a good point, Mike, because well, let's answer this question first. Who sent the original doll?
Yeah. Oh, Maui Girl. We never found out who sent the original one. She never found out. The thing that was the message for Amber was that somebody loved her. And it could have been someone in the neighborhood. It could have been her mother. She was not living with her mother, who was addicted to drugs and eventually made some really poor additional choices in her life. And this beautiful little Amber was actually, Chris, her birth name was Cannabis. Her mother was into drugs, and that's her birth name. So if you look at that little video, if you replay it, folks, you'll see Amber has a little cannabis on there, which she wears to just remind her of where her roots are. And she's not afraid of the fact that she came from a mom who was really struggling. So the age range, the age range was from 2 to 64 that were in the polygamous group. They were called sister councils that people were being sexually abused in. So the ranges were horrid.
Oy. But I want to just back up for a second to a point you just kind of glossed over. But guys, let me tell you something about Mike King. This goes to show you, his character. And by the way, I don't find any guile in this man. I have known this man a very long time. And if you haven't seen, the worst of things in life, right, which we know a lot of us have, all of us, but to have that type of gift to where you're not only empathetic to the victim, but you're also getting letters from the perpetrators, from the prison. That is justice and mercy balanced. And that's why Lady Liberty or Lady Justice wears a blindfold. And God bless you, Mike. I mean, you really are the real deal. And it's just such an honor to be your friend all these years. But when we see these victims these kind of cases that you worked, and then we hear their stories and we hear them say to you, thank you. I love you. I care about you. But then on the other side, I hear you say, yeah, and I had my arm around that guy. I wish he would have been sentenced for 99 years, but I was right next to him when it was happening. Folks, that's why Mike King did this channel. And I am so grateful that he asked me to be a part of it. And, good for you, Mike. Keep going. Keep plowing through. That's amazing.
You were the example for me. Thank you. So do we have a few more questions, Chris?
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
we've already blown your night, folks. We may as well go until 9, right?
Yeah, we might as well roll. Well, we've got a lot coming this week, Mike. We can
let's
bounce
talk
into some of
about
that too. Is Amber's mom still alive?
alive? No, she's not. In fact, maybe when Amber comes back, we'll have her talk about a little sweet little gift that she put on her mom's chest in her coffin. And it will be kind of something that will tie a lot of things together. But yeah, so.
Okay, so I'm going to kind of give everybody a little level set here over the next couple of days, because
This is big. This is big, folks.
Thursday's going to be like nuts, okay, in a very good way, okay? So first of all, I will tell you there are some big things coming in the Morphew case, and there are, Lauren's on it. She's got a big series coming up here, okay? That's the first thing coming. And we will give you a heads up that we know about it, but we are sworn to secrecy. And but it's going to be a what did we used to say? Emergency traffic only. I'm kicking the door, and you throw the flashbang in. And we blew a parrot up one night. Did you guys ever blow any? We had a parrot up on top of in this cage, right? It was a drug dealer's house, and the first guy at the door, throws the bang, and then the rest of the crew comes in behind him, and boom, this thing goes off, and everybody goes in, and there's this parrot laying on the cage on the side of the deck.
No.
Oh, it was okay. It was okay. It just scared the crud out of him. Oh, he was like, what the heck? Who are these guys?
I'm glad you didn't hurt the parrot.
No, we didn't hurt the parrot. Yeah, let's make that clear. I don't hurt any animals. But I got to tell you, it was funny as all get out. You're looking over and this thing's like, it's like, okay, are you okay? And the thing pops back up, says, okay, we're good. Let's go. Anyway, that said, okay, oh my gosh, we have a world famous doctor coming Thursday night.
Thursday day. And tell them why. Yeah, folks, you know what? We have so many that keep saying I have to wake up in the middle of the night at 4 a.m. to watch you two yahoos, that we decided that this Thursday we're going to do this in the middle of the day. It will be live, and we're going to have a world-class doctor from the United Kingdom on with us, and you are not going to want to miss this one. So just like Chris always says, buckle your seatbelts up, and about 3:30ish on Thursday Mountain Time,
right?
We're gonna blow this one open.
Yeah,
and
it's going to be. Go ahead.
What are we going to talk about, Chris? Do you want to say, or should we just leave it at that?
No, let's tell them. Let's talk. We're going to talk about 8 steps in domestic violence homicide timeline. And this doctor has done extensive research on that challenge. And we'll just leave it right there.
Yeah,
she's fascinating. She's fascinating.
Yeah, you're going to love hearing from her. And then we'll be in choir practice the following week. The week after
Monday.
that, we're going to be exploring some more with big name. And the week after, another big name. So it's going to be pretty exciting. Stephanie, Herb, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. We love you guys. Thank you so much. You're so kind.
Cried a little bit tonight. Stephanie, tears of laughter, sadness, and compassion, all in one choir practice. This is what choir practice is, isn't it, Chris?
Yeah, it is. It is. And we are so grateful to everybody. Mike and I keep talking about it, but to keep pushing that button. Please share with your friends. And by the way, guys and gals, it's not about if you can or can't donate or whatever. Okay, that's not why we're here. Okay, and we know that's not why you're here. Okay, there are some people out there who are struggling, and we get that. Just show up. Just come. Just be here. Okay, just enjoy the journey with us. You know, I mean, we are having a lot of fun, but more importantly, we're learning so much from you. We're grateful for you, Jana Bell. I mean, folks that are joining us, and you know, Kathy Helmel, what a choir practice. I mean, Mike, again, we go back. I was sitting around with my friends today, right? At a we had some hot dogs, and you know, my Sully group, they know who they are. Okay, just good friends. Okay, and we were just laughing. We were laughing, and that's what this is about for us. And so, you know, keep going, and don't, and if, you know, defend us, by the way, on the other craziness, you know, stuff out there. You know,
We appreciate when you jump in, and
I tell ya.
because we're not going to do it. And thank you. That's kind, but
Yeah,
don't get
we're not gonna
yourself
do it.
into a fight with somebody, because
It's not
frankly, we hope that we see it. There's a different class of folks that are tuning into this channel, and we really appreciate it. And to those, Chris,
Vicky, thank you.
those that I want you to read that in just a second, Chris, but those of you who are frustrated because we're not responding to you quick enough, we're reading everything. We're just not able to respond to everything. And we're forwarding on things as we get them that make sense to forward on. Those things that you're putting in the evidence room, we're bundling up and getting them where they need to go. But just know we're really trying to be responsive. And for those of you who do help out more, it really helps. This stuff costs, and we really appreciate it. But man, please just keep telling your friends to sub and step up, because it really helps us a lot. So what did Vicky have to say?
So Vicky, hiya, Chris and Mike. I love your channel and been a sub from the start, and I knew you were going to be big. Well done on your hard work. Lots of love and hugs from the UK.
That's nice.
Actually, you know, kisses and, you know, cheers. Thank you, Mike and Chris. Best choir practice ever. Thank you, Jen. We're we're grateful for that. You know, a moose salute. Okay, you know, just the best cheers ever. Awesome. Thank you, Misty. PE, my favorite channel. Tell your friends. Tell your friends.
Thanks, Karen.
You know,
That's
everybody's
awesome.
welcome here. This is
Stacy on the
quality time for me.
case. This is quality
Mike.
time. When we have to be closed off, this is a wonderful way to break the monotony. Glad we can help you in this COVID season. Cindy K, thank you.
This is good. Yeah, thank you for reminding us. Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
And
Great.
you know what? I thought DV month was April. Is that
it's October. Yeah, I think she's right. I think she's right. Thank you for bringing
April
that.
It's Victims Month, I think. Crime Victims Month.
Thank you for bringing that up. You know, Mike, you crack me up. He cracks me up too. Doesn't he have the goofiest laugh? I love his laugh. I love Mike's laugh.
Yeah, it is goofy.
Yeah, I love it. Absolutely.
Bridie Bell, my eyes hurt. Stacy on the case is laughing. Susan, we picked up a new member. Thank you. Mary D, thank you. Oh, Vicky, my husband thinks I'm crazy because I watch you guys all the time. We think you're crazy too, but we really
get him involved. Get him involved. Come, get him to choir practice with you. We love having him with us. Susan became a YouTube member. Thank you. Laporte.
That's awesome. Is there anybody that doesn't know what choir practice is by now?
You know, tell him again. Remind him. Well, Ron just did tonight, right?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
And New York does it a little bit different, but it's the same. It's the same, but it's a little different. Told my mom I was going to choir practice, and she says, "So they know they can't sing." Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I know. Here we go. Love you.
Hey,
welcome to
Canada.
Canada. Yeah. Hey. And I hope you're watching some hockey up there. The playoffs are going on up there. So we got to make sure that's happening. What else we got, Michael?
I think I just Texas. What do we got?
No, it's love you guys from the Panhandle. Yeah, go Texas. Love it. Love you guys. How do you pronounce choir?
There you go.
There you go. I just choir. Her mom asked her. Go.
Glasgow, Scotland's calling in. Thank you so much. And hey, if you've had the chance, let's while we're looking at these, pull up the map and remind you that this is a great time for all of you to go in and send a note and show us where you're writing in from. It's pretty amazing when you think about it.
Look what Jessica said. This is awesome.
Family that sings together always fights crime together. I love it.
Hey, and we had somebody from China tonight, Mike.
Oh, we
I
did.
saw-
They must be
yeah,
using a
they-
VPN to get in because you can't otherwise.
It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. We had
Oh,
somebody
that's
from China.
fantastic. So 2,196 surveys have been submitted. We had that many people on tonight. So folks, if we're about 23,000, that means only 10% have actually indicated where they're from. You don't have to put your home address. All you got to do is just go in there and say, I live in this city or in this region. And it's really fun for us to be able to see all over the world where the Profiling Evil family is coming in from. And maybe sometime we'll have to do a song, Chris, and have a worldwide sing fest of one number, you playing the guitar, and we'll just do one number for everybody to sing together. Maybe Danny Boy or something like that.
I'll tell you, you're living on faith, Michael. I love you to death. Hey, so I have to say something about social media, as folks know. Okay, so I messed up today. I was clicking through some things, and I'm like, what is this? Okay, and anyway, so I went to hit something, and I hit block. Okay, and I'm like, okay.
I got that email.
I know, and I fixed it. I made it right. So whoever you are, young lady, you know who you are. I'm not going to say, right, but forgive me. That was not intentional. I'm still figuring out how to block somebody. Okay, if you'll notice, I at first when I got a Twitter thing, and I didn't have one. You go through and you go, okay, this, and this. Okay, now I've been called everything from an old fogey to I have dentures. I've got a lisp. I was drunk a couple of nights, apparently, from some folks. Okay, so I'm good with all of that. So you can imagine me trying to, operate a Twitter. So I'm getting better at it. Forgive me up front, but full confession. Okay, Vancouver, Maryland,
Cheated no more.
Switzerland in the house.
Much for the donation.
Ottawa.
That is really cool. We do have somebody from Hong Kong.
San Diego County.
We do have somebody from Hong Kong. Wow.
Isn't that
That
great?
is awesome. And
great.
I'll tell you, I've done a lot of work with the Hong Kong
Yes.
Police Department, and love those guys in Hong Kong. What a beautiful city. And the Hilton there is fantastic. I just got to say, they treat you like you're royalty.
Yeah, they do. And is the map posted on the website? Mike, tell them where they can go to the map and
just go
show
to
us where they are.
profilingevil.com, or if you look below in the description area, there will be links of where to go for the map, and you can enter in your information there. And we'll just ask Tyler and Tim if we have any emails that have come in of Profiling Evil mugs. I hear some people have gotten their rookie year mug.
Yeah, that's
So
great.
that
We
will
want
be
pictures, though. Show us pictures because we want to put them up. We want everybody to, this isn't about us, it's about everybody. So it's one big family. So anyway, I want to see them,
And folks, a couple of you have asked, in fact, a number of you have asked why we don't weigh in on every single thing that pops up on cases. Some things just don't need repeating over and over again, the same piece of information. We try to just kind of think about what's something that's going to be new information, or that we've come up with an idea or a strategy that seems new. So please don't think we're completely out of touch because we're not regurgitating maybe some of the other things that are popping up. And we know that you just got lots of places to look. Again, we can't thank you enough for just subscribing to us and tuning in and listening to two old gumshoes kind of yap about.
And all our mods, Andy Crayons, good grief. She is just an absolute doll. And Sophie and Nat Man, Jessica, just everybody who's jumped in to help us learn and to help and do, how this works. We are just so grateful for you and just managing some of the other stuff that's going on. As Mike said, we don't have the bandwidth to do all of that, Ben. So we really are grateful that you would even share your talents and your skills. We love web, Trisha over Web Sleuths. I mean, and her group and there are some really smart people. And Mike, I don't want to tip our hat, but we've got some pretty big things coming with Vallow, right? With the Vallow case, we're not going to tip our hat yet, and guys, you're not going to see it anywhere else but right here. We've got some big things coming on Vallow. We looked into the Delphi case. In fact, Mike even had a communication with the lead investigators. The timing right now is not right, or else you would see them right here on this channel. So we've got some really good things happening. We're really focused on helping support Andy, his efforts to find his sister. And, as clarity goes, we're not running that search. I mean, everybody knows that. Okay. We're helping facilitate to plug those, folks into Andy so that he can get that done on his side when he goes boots on the ground. And Find Suzanne search efforts GoFundMe. That's on the website. Just go to profilingevil.com and it will come right up. There's a link right next to it. You just push on it and it will take you right to the GoFundMe page. The other one at this point has not been moved over. So there are two of them, and we know it's confusing. Andy chose not to put Suzanne Morphew, and so he just used Suzanne, the search for Suzanne. So Find Suzanne, profileevil.com /Find Suzanne, and that's where you can find it right there.
Miss
There's
Cat,
a lot going on.
Thank you so much, Miss Cat. And Dra Latina, thank you. We actually had a couple of conversations with Dra Latina that have been very insightful. I've really appreciated some of the conversations there. Nat Man, thank you. I really watch closely, especially some of the things you're saying on some of the other channels. And Maridethi Delzi, thank you. We, with you, pray that they have a successful search. And again, I echo what Chris was saying. We're not running the search. We're only providing an avenue for people to sign up. I wish we could give you more information, but we just don't have information about what the logistics are. But I'll tell you, I think there's a lot of value. If you live in Colorado and you know one of your representatives, if they're bringing 300 to 500 people, they deserve to have the support of the sheriff's office and the state to just help coordinate. That's a lot of people and a lot of resources. It'll be really something to see. I also want to mention, Chris, that the impact that people have had on us has been tremendous. And we just want to tell you, we are listening. Thank you so much. And we hope you all are having a great night. Chris, I don't know what I'd do in this thing without you. Folks, we argue about things, but we always do it in a spirit of love. We have absolute trust in each other, and we look forward to being able to continue to provide content that is meaningful to you and is quality content. And Chris, I'm going to give you the last word.
Oh, Michael, tonight I was humbled to see Ron, to listen to his stories, knowing that he is also he ran to 9/11, and that's coming up this weekend, right? But then, Andy comes on and he level sets, what he's trying to get done for his little sister. And, I've got to give a shout out to Tyson, with the Draper brothers and Dusty. I mean, those guys, Tyson dropped that video, and that was the first thing you and I saw, remember? And we thought, wow, okay, there's something going on here. And next thing you know, we started looking into, Suzanne's case. And so, and then you bring Amber here. Okay. And, I have no words of, what do you say other than this is a woman who's empowered herself, and that she, I'm sure, not only taught me something tonight about humanity, but she's going to teach a lot of other people about, how to survive and make it if they're in that situation. So, but I'm reflected upon what Viktor Frankl said in that book, A Man's Search for Meaning. He said, I came to understand that life was predicated upon the point of a finger. And he goes to describe how he stood in front of that officer who was pure evil. And he was pointed the opposite direction of all the other people who got pointed to the gas chambers. And he recognized that it was a single finger that determined the destiny of whether he received another breath of life. And he went through that horrific experience and then ultimately wrote the book, A Man's Search for Meaning, by Dr. Viktor Frankl. I would encourage our viewers here and our friends here to take a look at that book if you're having a bad day, and learn a little bit about his life, because it empowered mine, and hopefully and maybe it can empower yours. So, Mike, I love you. You're like my brother, of course, my dear friend. But I'm just grateful that you even asked me to be part of this, and we love all of our friends and our PE family here. So,
We
thank
sure
you.
Thanks, Chris. Good night, everyone. We'll see you Thursday.